Boy, it is Friday night, 8:14, and I have completed the job that I had set out to do yesterday. Actually, I'll take it back. From here to there still needs to be done, so one little spot. However, these incandescent light bulbs strands, they usually say max 3 strands end to end before you start popping fuses. Right now I've got them both plugged in. I've got it plugged in over here, and I've got 4 strands going one way and 4 strands going the other, and I'm about 1 strand short. So I'm going to I'm not going to push it and put 5 strands end in because I know I'll be blowing fuses. So I'll be running another extension cord to that and running that one. I think that's the plan. But anyway, as you can see, I don't know how well you're going to be able to see, all the strands are done. 9 channels coming down, and I couldn't have done the measurement any more perfect. I'm 8 inches from the ground over here on the highest point. And as you can see here, because the yard slopes down a little bit more, I'm probably 2 feet off the ground over here, maybe a little bit more. So, but the whole tree is level. I mean, all the strands are pretty much level. During the edit last night, when I was editing the video, I realized I didn't follow up on dropping the top down and doing the wrap around. I did it, and I went around twice, and then I pulled it tight to see how I was doing with the, leaving the slack enough, and it was awful. I was completely way off. So I pulled it tight, and I reached out, and about 5 rings around. It was really difficult. I had my belt in, and I was stretched out as far as I can, pushing myself away from the tower as far as I can, and reaching out basically vertically from the tower to reach out. And so basically installing it, I couldn't just drop it down and do the wire and do the rope. So the good thing is, if a bulb goes out or section goes out, I can drop it down and fix it and then pull it back up, because I'm not going to be removing them from the ropes. But to install it, I had to do it the hard way, which was definitely one heck of a job. And then taking it down, it's not going to be a big deal because I'll just lower it and cut the tie wraps anyway. But the hard part is done. Well, I'll take that back. I still do have to do 8 spirals up inside this tree, so I still have to reach out during those sections and get those tied in. So anyway, just wanted to touch base and let you guys know that this part is pretty much done, and we'll move on to the next section. Okay guys, it is Saturday night. Now tomorrow I've got the entire day to work outside on Christmas. I came home late, didn't get home until after dark, and it was raining. So I'm utilizing this time to do some programming. So figured I'd make a video and kind of show you guys what I'm doing. Anyway, what I'm going to do now, I'm working on Holiday Flight. I'm taking the information that I programmed from 2011, and I'm going to be transferring it to this year's show, 2017. So go ahead and start the recording here. And wanted to show you, what I'm going to do is go ahead and open up our sequence editor. What I first did is I opened up our Holiday Flight from 2011. I had to import the media file because over the time it has lost or forgot what we're looking at. And as you can kind of see here, this is my generic drawing of my show that year. I'm going to play a little bit of this, and you can kind of Now, I'm not going to go into too much detail of what I did here, but you can kind of see the tree and how I had things going back and forth and stuff like that. So what I'm going to have to do is turn this show, turn that show, that programming, and convert the channels that I might have been using for the water show. I had the water show this year, or the wreaths that I had hanging over the house, to this year's show. The good thing is I had 9 channels on my tree. I had a spiral, which I believe is 8-channel spiral. I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 channels over the driveway, and I don't know. Anyway, I've got to take this information and now transport it to this year's show, and then I'll have to do some fine tuning. So basically, I'm going to go close this down. Here's my diagram again for my show that I've already done. So I'm going to save a lot of time on this programming. I'm going to come up here and do File, New, Musical Sequence. That's what we're doing. It's going to ask me to pick my file that I want to use, and it's 2017. There it is, Holiday Flight. I'm going to go here to channel configuration because I did save my channel configuration, and it's Christmas 2017 right here. And I'm going to do a beat wizard, and hopefully this is going to recognize the beats and automatically put it in there. I'm going to go ahead and pause this video for a second while it does this. Alright, now it did place my beats one hash mark at every beat, but if you look back here, I've got 1 hash mark at every quarter beat. So what I'm going to need to do is go to my new sequence. I need to highlight all the selected through the entire song. I'm going to drag this all the way over the end. Let go of the left mouse button and right click in somewhere in that selected, and then go down here where it says subdivide timings. And what I'm going to do is subdivide timings. We want to put 4 hash marks for every one, and that went ahead and put the right spacing in there, starting from the beginning of the show. Alright, I always like to add the little waveform so I can kind of see what's going on with the music. It helps you pick that beat. Do the same thing here. And now what I can do is 1, 8, 9. I can basically select the first 9 channels, or I'm sorry, the first 17 channels actually, and all the way to the end, in all honesty. Now we'll have to do a little bit of adjusting, I'll guarantee you that, but I want to select the first 17 channels, right click, hit copy. I don't want to cut anything from this, I just want to copy, and then I'll go ahead and paste it into the new show. And I put it in the DMX. I have to, my first channel up here is DMX, so I'll go to this channel and paste, and there it is. So 17 channels of my show for this song are done, just like that. And I will go on and go to the next, my old show, and find out a particular channel that I did that might line up to something I have for this show. Like I have 2 channels for the peak, 2 channels for the eve, 1, 2, 3, 4 channels for the pillar. So I have 3 pillars that are 4 channels, so maybe I can copy that and go ahead and place it into those pillars. I have looks like 8 channels for the arch. I do have an 8-channel arch here, or well, something up there, and so on and so forth. So copy and paste. Even if it's not the same song, if you want your arches to do a specific thing that you did in the last show, copy and paste that section, throw it in your new song. So this is what's going to save me a lot of time in programming. And if you're just starting off, you're not going to have this. But over time, make sure you save all your sequences, and go forth from there. It'll definitely save you a lot of time. I do plan on creating a website with a file sharing option, so you guys can we can share some of my recordings, but until that happens, kind of on your own, guys. So anyway, stay tuned. Tomorrow we'll be doing some work outside, and we'll be going from there. Thanks. Good morning. It is Sunday morning, 8:30. We'll be dodging storms all day. It's wet out. It's nice and cool, breezy, which is nice. Gonna be a nice little break. Looking at the tree, it looks like it's holding its shape and everything's doing. As you can see, the ropes have sagged a little bit, but probably go up and tighten it up, pull it up a little tighter. But for the most part, it's in its shape. Now, my next step here will be to actually, I just saw it in the camera. Look at this one section. You see how that section right there swoops down quite a bit versus the bottom, this section below it. That is one of the sections I did while the tower, while I lowered the tower. The one below it was even worse than that. And I was debating on whether or not I wanted to cut that off and tighten that up, which I might still have to do, but I don't know if anybody honestly is going to tell. It's one of those things that I can tell because I did it. But anyway, the next project for today will be to put the spiral down the tower. And it's going to spiral around. And I'll show you how I do that when I start doing that. I got to get at least 8 strands of lights to start off with. And I have the lights that I know I'm going to use. I just got to make sure they're all working. It's that time of year again to talk about my favorite. I have a crappy picture. Let me see if you can see me. Favorite tool. It's the Light Keeper Pro. I'm in the process of checking these lights and making sure that about these lights. These are brown wire. The spacing on the lights themselves are 6 inches apart. These are kind of rare to find. I found these online. They're industrial strength Christmas lights that I got on clearance a few years back, and I'm using them for the spiral of the tree this year. And since they're old, they need a little bit of work. This whole set right here is completely dead. And the first thing you want to check when you plug in a set that is completely dead, if obviously half the set is working, you know the fuse is good. If the whole set is dead, there's a possibility that the fuse in the plug is bad or has burned out for whatever reason. So you could always open that and do a visual inspection. Let's see what I can do here. Make this a little bit better. But with the Light Keeper Pro, it's got a trigger on the back. When you press it, it's looking for voltage. And take any part of the string and click it, you should be able to get that beeping sound like that. That means there is voltage going through there. That means the fuse is good without having to open up that. The first thing you want to do, and this might be stupid common sense stuff for a lot of you guys, but if you want to know how to check a normal set of incandescent string light bulbs, not the LEDs, this is basically what I do, and hopefully this helps, is do a visual inspection to make sure you're not missing any physical bulbs or any bulbs are actually broken, because that could be number one, dangerous. You can get electrocuted if it was broken, or if it's sharp it can get cut. But also, number two, more importantly, could be your problem. Alright, so we're just going to do a quick once over to make sure we're not missing any bulbs, or we don't have any broken ones like this. So this right here is exposed wiring. And if I touch it with my finger, I will most likely electrocute myself. I'm trying to touch it. There's a little metal piece here that you can pry this stuff off with. And I'm trying to touch those two together. There's also another one right there. All right. So this one looks like it's touching maybe. Let's see if I can. No. See, that's those. Either both of them are the problem. Anyway, this looks like it's in the first half. Now, if I try to get these bulbs out while it's plugged in, I could run the risk of getting shocked. Common sense thing, just unplug it from the thing, unplug it from the plug, right? That will remove the power, and this way I can easily and safely take these bulbs out. But in certain cases, let's say in the middle of the season, the lights are on the roof or on the tower or whatever, and I don't want to go and try to, where's it plugged in, and unplug it. I can actually take the bulb that's next to it, take this out. This will kill the circuit, and now I can safely remove this broken bulb without running the risk of getting electrocuted or shocked, or electrocution is a strong term. And then we want to just go ahead and swap this bulb with a known working bulb. If you don't already know, they've got, let me see if I can get it to focus in on the light bulb here. On the bottom of these you have a hole with 2 wires coming out. You need to straighten up those wires, and then you can pull the broken bulb or the dead bulb out. In my opinion, you want to save this and put the new bulb in this holder and then plug this holder back into the light strand. Let's go find a bulb. Alright, now that we've found a replacement bulb, obviously you just stick that new bulb into, come on focus, into the socket, the old socket, and then push these pins down like that. And then when you push them back into the socket here, it'll make good connection. Now this has a little safety or clip on it, which is pretty standard with industrial bulbs to keep them in place. Now I still have this other bulb removed for the current, so I'm going to take and do the same thing and remove this bulb and see if by any chance that fixes the problem. Now that I've got that other bulb back in place, I can go ahead and reinsert the bulb that I removed for the circuit, and bam, that was it. Those two broken bulbs solved half of my light section. So we'll do the same thing with the other half. Again, do a once over to make sure that there's no broken or missing bulbs. And nothing obvious. Okay, now when it comes to the Light Checker Pro, what I do, first thing I do, is I'm going to take out one of the bulbs in the section that's not working. I'm going to inspect that bulb, might as well since you got it out, make sure the wires are, intact still, because the wires might be showing here, but they might actually be broken inside here. So I just give them a slight little tug and straighten them out, make sure that they're connecting. Got the bulb out, might as well check it anyway. The Light Keeper Pro also has a section right here where you can plug in any light bulb and test the bulb itself, and it'll actually, I don't know if you can see that, but the bulb will actually light up. So we know that this bulb is good. First thing you want to do is right here in this section you have the ability to plug in a socket. Make sure it's set in there really nice and tightly, and then pull the trigger a few times. What this does is sends like, it's kind of like plunging a toilet. It sends a little bit of voltage through the line, and sometimes if you have like a problem with the line, or more likely a high resistance open, it's kind of like they're almost touching. Sending the extra voltage in the line will either completely separate it or it'll fuse it together. So this just sends that kind of shock through, and after a few, a dozen or so clicks, sometimes the lights come on. In this case it doesn't. So, but it's always a good first try. This way, doing it quickly, about half of the time I find that will solve your problem. But the other half it doesn't. So this is where we go with our little voltage detector. Take the last end on the bulb, on the strand, and hit, and I should be getting a sound like that when I'm pointing at the bulb. This means that the voltage isn't coming to this bulb. So I'm going to start at the other end, meaning starting at the first bulb of the half of the line. You see here we got a bulb working, and there is a bulb not working. So this is the first bulb of the second set, and you can see we've got voltage. So we just got to come down and keep following that tone until we get to the bulb that doesn't have that tone on it. If for whatever reason you want the tone to come from the other end, basically the voltage is going in this direction. If for whatever reason you want the voltage to go in the opposite direction, what you need to do is you need to unplug the plug, turn it around, plug it back in. And then in that case, the voltage will, you probably won't get any tone here, because now the voltage is going to the end of the plug and traveling down this way. So we got our voltage. So it's up to you whether you want to test from one end or test from the middle up. I find that helpful. If I go through and I miss my voltage and I check the bulbs and nothing, it doesn't seem to be fixing the issue, I'll flip the plug around and go from the other end and do that. And then usually I find that bulb and we get good from there. So let's go find the bulb. All right. Voltage, right? Voltage. No voltage. Alright, we lose it right there. So we got it here, we lose it here. So that's an indication that it's one of these two bulbs that is causing the issue, that the voltage is not passing through. So let's go ahead and open the bulb that we had the voltage going through. Check our wires. They still seem to be intact. Do a visual inspection. If you look closely inside the bulb, you'll see a little wire wrapped around those two wires that are coming straight. There's a little wire down at the bottom wrapped around those. And that's what gives the bulb the ability that if the bulb burns out, that the strand doesn't go out. That's why you have maybe a Christmas strand with a burned out bulb, but you're still, the rest of the bulbs are out. So this bulb appears to be working just fine. It lights up in the tester as well. We'll move down to the next bulb. This is the bulb that we didn't have voltage on. And there's your problem right there. If you look, see if I can damn focus. So you got a wire on this side, no wire on this side. We pull this out and focus. See that one wire is missing. So let's go ahead and find a new bulb. Now, if we wanted to, since we got this section, this socket open, I can go ahead and plug in my protector or my checker, and you can see that that is the problem because the less the strand comes up. Go ahead and pump it a couple more times, plunge that line a little bit more, stick the bulb in, and we're good to go. Now we've got a good working strand. This thing is well worth its weight in gold. It's $20 in the store. The batteries themselves, I have to replace them every other year or so. They're about $10 to replace the batteries, and this has saved me a lot of money. Definitely go. I know they sell them at Home Depot, Lowe's, probably Walmart too, but the Lightkeeper Pro, get one.
If you don't have one, get one. All right, next.
Well, here we are at the top. I've got all 8 strands of the spiral just sitting up here, hooked up here. And basically what I'm going to do is remember there's 16 ropes coming down and I only have 8 channels, so I'm going to go every other rope. I'm going to tie it at the very top, the first top ring. When I get down to the second ring, I'm going to go over 2 ropes. Alright, and I'm going to tie it to that. So as it's going down and spiraling, I'm going to keep that form all the way down to the bottom. So every 24 inches down, I'm going to go 2 ropes over. And then we're going to hopefully try to do this all at once, all 8 channels at once. They're all hanging down, they're kind of getting tangled up, but we'll untangle it as we go. So let's do it. There's another rainstorm coming, so hopefully I get some rain. Some days you struggle, and today is that day for me. Taking a quick break to try to regroup here. Every time I climb up the tower, it starts to pour, and I'm getting really frustrated with tangled lines and kids, and so hopefully, my day off. I was really looking forward to this day to get a lot done, and it's got to be this crappy, rainy day. And I've only got 2 more full days off between, not including today, 2 more full days off before Thanksgiving, before the show comes on. So this is really, really pissing me off. And I got to the point that today I was like, oh, fuck it, I'm not doing it. But just gotta regroup and get in some better spirits, put on some Christmas music, and let's knock this out, right? Gotta keep doing it. Yep, this is what we have to deal with. I'm not even that far done, but it's getting a little easier because when I'm up in the top of this, I get caught up in the strings and stuff, in the lines and things like that. Once it gets down, maybe another couple more sections, it's going to go a little bit smoother until it gets too far for me to reach. So I went and got some drier clothes on, some more waterproof clothes, because it is a little chilly, and it's not really that cold. It's just being wet and windy. It's probably in the mid 70s, low 70s, but with the wind and the rain, it's a little chilly up here. So trying to stay a little bit dry and warm. It's not going to stop raining, so I just got to keep working. All right, well, we got a break in the rain, and I'm done with the spiral. The problem is it ends right here. This is one full channel above the bottom. So I am going to make a determination whether or not I want to continue with another strand of lights or maybe here. I think I will continue, but I'm not going to continue now. If I'm going to do it, then it will be a lot easier to do it because I can reach it from the ground. I just got to add it to it. So next step is these tower sections that are going to be at the end of the road. I'm starting to get those in place and ready to go. There's going to be a disco ball at the top of both of those tower sections that is going to be blocked out from the front but visible from the back, and then the lights that are in these boxes are going to be able to point towards them and then spread those dots on the house. I'm going to have one rotating one direction, the other rotating the opposite direction, so it's going to be hopefully a cool effect. So I'm getting those in place. I'm going to wrap them with garland, try to hide the towers as much as possible, so let's get going. Alright, well, you saw the tree. Here's my tower section with some garland on it. There's lights I've wrapped in there. Disco ball installed. The one disco ball I have, I still have to order another one and a motor. I'm going to be putting something here on this side and on this side to block the disco ball so you can't see it. More importantly, so when the light shines and hits it from the roof, that it doesn't bleed through. So I've got to find something to put there. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side of the driveway. I put some white lights that I wrapped up in the garland. The extras are going down the driveway with some stakes, and as you can see over there, I have the wreath installed. No lights on it. Still got to fluff it a little bit and then put the lights and the strobes on it. So it's coming together slowly. This rain is really washed out the day. It's really kind of ticked me off, but at least I got some progress made. Also cleaned up the yard. Got some of the debris and stuff out of there, so the house looks a little bit more presentable as I work on it. Usually it does look like crap. Usually the yard does look like crap while I am working on it, but so I figured I'm not going to really putting up any other lights or anything tonight, so I went through and just picked up everything. I still got to mow the grass one last time before the season, so I got the next couple weeks. I think I'm not letting it grow. Go ahead and let it grow until week of Thanksgiving, maybe next Sunday, and cut it depending on the weather. One thing I'm going to mention, since this is just sticking up pointing at me, some people swear by putting tape over the electrical outlets at the ends of their strands to prevent water from getting in there and causing any issues with the shorting out or anything. I am against it. I think that water's going to get in there anyway. I mean, this thing is not watertight by any means. There's no rubber seals, there's no silicone, and if I put tape over this, then it actually traps the water inside and the moisture inside. So by keeping it open, in my opinion, it's going to help keep the moisture out. And that's just my 2 cents, my opinion on it. I'll try not to set these straight up like this, or if it's going to be near up, these lights were on the eave and the downspout or where it runs off the shingles is right here. I'm going to obviously trying to avoid that, but I'm definitely not going to tape up the ends like some people either say to do or do themselves. But that's just my 2 cents. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and cut this video. It's probably pretty lengthy. Looking at some of the videos that I've already recorded over the last couple days, but I'm going to go ahead and cut it, hopefully get this up and edited today. Next video will probably come by Thursday, since it's my next day off, and I'm hoping, my goal is for Thursday, or at least by Thursday, that everything that's programmable, every channel that I have on my light show will be up and installed. I'm also hoping that maybe I got to get that other disco ball ordered, so I got to program and set the DMX light, the points to the disco ball, so I know when I go and start programming the DMX that I know where that section, that intensity level is for the lights to be pointing at the disco ball. What I'm doing with programming now, just to give you a quick update, is I'm converting everything that I have to the new 2007 show Light-O-Rama programming only, and then once I get all done with that, I'm going to go through and do all the DMX programming last. So that's what I'm doing with that. I'll probably be doing that tonight and other nights or evenings that I get off work late. But anyway, thanks for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe. Come back for more. There's going to be plenty more. Once I get the whole light show up and running, I'm going to start doing some more tutorials. Do my best to finish my Light-O-Rama series, so you guys know exactly how to do just about everything with Light-O-Rama. Anyway, I'm rambling, so I'll go ahead and end it now. Thanks, guys. Thanks for watching. Bye.